history, part of the reason is there's not enough source material. So that's the inspiration. So I can imagine and let my own imagination take wing and imagine the stories. But also, because, I also like it to have some root in fact. So I have bought myself some books and I've referred to the books. One was The Islands of Bahrain by Angela Clark, the American Mission Hospital. They have a book about the history of Bahrain. And then there's Mr. Al-Oraya, then he's written a book on Manama itself. So these have helped me to come up with some of the background to my writing. But just walking in these old places, I feel that the walls can talk to you. In the souk, I feel as if there were people living here, and if I close my eyes, I imagine that they are there. In the museum, I look at the burial mounds that they put into the museum, and I find that that is also an inspiration. And then just talking to people and meeting people, this helps me. And you see here where we are, look at the stones. They are hundreds and hundreds of years old. The stones are talking. Many years ago, when we were here in the 80s and 90s, my children were in school, and the Budaya Road, I used to live in Budaya and Sar, so we could just come off the road and come and visit, and there was nothing. And I mean, it was not formally arranged. Like, I think they've done a beautiful job, but there was something just magical about it, because there was nothing here, and we could come and we could walk and we could see the sea, and it was just really, really, an inspiration. I used to think someday maybe I will write about it, but that time I was very busy with the children. I would have to think about, I would write a story in the past, a magical story, maybe a story about somebody who came. I did a poem on Gilgamesh, so because he was a great inspiration to me. I loved the story of Gilgamesh, and so I wrote a poem about him, and I imagined that he came to this part, that he looked, and then of course in my imagination he never left. They say he ate he wanted to stay, but he was made to go away by Enkidu. So, but in my imagination, that's not the real history. He stayed, he never left, he stayed here. The main content of the book, My Beautiful Bahrain, is it's a mixture. There's poetry, there's essays, there's stories, there's life experiences. People have put all of that into this book, My Beautiful Bahrain. And my own piece is an essay with including a poem, including lots of different poems about the history of Bahrain, about myself and my experiences, about my children. And so there are a few poems about them as well. And at the end of that essay, I had written that I would someday like to leave a little footprint in the sands of Bahrain's time. And I feel I am now here doing just that. It is very emotional for me. Well, I was working as a copywriter here with Fortune Proma 7, so that helped me. And in addition, even after I retired, I remained in touch with the people. And so and with the Bahrain Writers Circle, we have encouraged writing. So I have been very much encouraged by that in my career, in my own writing. And Mr. Akram Miknas, can I mention him? He has also helped me a lot. He keeps in touch with me, I keep in touch with him, and he gives me projects to do, and I just, you know, other people as well in Bahrain have helped me to, I've spoken to them and I've written about them, so it's a very interesting time for me, and that has helped my writing a lot. It is my second home because we went to Canada and we stayed there, but we were there for only 10 years, and then we decided to come back. And I loved Canada, I loved Nova Scotia, which is where I'm from, but the people and the warmth and the love of Bahrain, we came back, and so we feel at home. Things are easy here. Life is also easy, and it is hot, but it's not too, I mean, it's manageable. It doesn't get too cold. We love it here. It's really, although this time my children are not with us, but our children grew up here. For them, it was their growing up place. They went to school, they made friends here. So yes, we have, it has become like a second home to us, very much. Who knows, we may remain here forever, like Gilgamesh. My most precious memories, well, it was as the children were growing up, because they had met their milestones here. They learned to swim here. They learned to play hockey here. My son used to play field hockey. The swimming at the school was amazing because they did all of that. Then for me as well, I celebrated my 40th anniversary here. That's of course this time. And I don't know how many more years I will be here, but I think we'll stay. I think we will stay for a while, definitely. I think they are doing a lot. It is already, you know, they are developing things. There's a farmer's market that you can go to. There are, you know, the roundabouts have all got, you know, greenery and plants, and you know immediately that, okay, summer's over, now the petunia is coming, then they have, in summer they'll have the portulaca everywhere. So I like to see these changes in Bahrain. We have seasons, not that we don't have seasons, we have seasons here. And I love that about Bahrain as well. And I love the fact that it's modern, it's ancient. Look at this, look at where we are. It's just beautiful. And we have, you know, sort of in between as well. You know, you go to the older houses, they're not historic yet, but they are old houses, and you can still see that imprint of the past. And this is what is beautiful about Bahrain, for me certainly. One choice. It was a sprint to the finish. When I arrived home, the door was ajar. Oh, that looks good. I fumbled inside the bag only to discover the contents were not mine. Choose and then we'll get writing. my occupation as such is I'm a retired copywriter, but I still occasionally get a little bit of work that comes into me. I have a client in Brazil, another one in Malaysia. So yes, I still do a bit of writing for them. I do some editing, and if anybody who in Bahrain, of course, if anybody asks me, I am available to do their work for them. But the thing that I enjoy most these days is, of course, running the Bahrain Writers Circle. We have an amazing group of people and writers, and I enjoy being with them. And the meetings are, as I have mentioned before, we have 3 meetings in a month. We have a monthly meeting where we discuss the business of writing. We have a poetry group meeting, and we are preparing for a festival at the end of September called Colors of Life. And then we have a monthly workshop where we discuss the craft of writing, and we sometimes talk about, like for instance, we want to present what we are doing and get peer feedback from the other writers here. Well, in the monthly meeting we get somebody to come and talk. We've had a lawyer come in the past to talk about copyright issues and intellectual property rights. We've had people come in and talk about their publishing journeys. We had a lady come in and tell us all about how to pitch for magazines and publications in and around Bahrain and in the region as well as elsewhere. How do we identify the journal we want to have our work published in? How to approach the editors. We do things like that. Then at the poetry group meeting, we usually share our poetry and get feedback. And then we practice for our festival, which will be coming up. We have had 2 major public events that involve poetry and writing. There's one is Confluence, where the artists and writers got together and created works of art. That one reflected either the art reflected the words or the words reflected the art, and that worked out really well. And we did that the first time last year, and we did it again this year, and both times at Bahrain Financial Hub at Harbourgate. And this year we're going to do the Colors of Life at the Rifa Views International School. They have offered us a space there, and that's where we will be doing that. So all the poets are told you have only 3 minutes. 3 minutes is a fairly good time, so we have at least 2 or 3 poems each person is able to present. And so they present it sometimes with music, sometimes with visuals. We have this year we have 4 Bahraini poets in our group. 3 of them are presenting in Arabic, and one is presenting in English. She's very brave and she's presenting it in English. Just by talking to each other, I think people, when they come and they sit in on a meeting, they go back and say, I'm going to write. And we've had some members who've been coming year after year say they're going to write, and finally something goes off in their heads and they, okay, I've decided I'm going to write, this is what I'm going to do. And they pitch. One of our members, after a long time, decided she was going to do a professional sort of article. She pitched, her article got selected, and she has been signed on as a regular contributor to this magazine. It's an international magazine. She's very happy, and this is it. And she's a Bahraini lady, she's an older lady, but she said, I'm going to do it, and it's her passion. And you know, once you come and you talk about writing, if that is what you're interested in, sooner or later we're going to ignite something and you will have an inspiration to write something. So, we have a website, people know about it. We have groups on Facebook, and there's a lot of word of mouth. People keep coming and joining us from, you know, other groups, and you know, some people hear about us, some people find out about us on the internet and actually say, I'm coming, I want to join. And we've had that happen as well. So I think we are getting to be known. People have got to know about us. And we just are a volunteer group and people who just love writing and talking about their writing and sharing their writing. So that's how we just operate. It's just us, and there's nothing formal about it. Just a group of people.